Alright guys, today's video we're going to talk about the proper timing for your fall food plots. Proper timing is very important in order to have a quality food source that lasts all year long and is palatable all season long. First up, a lot of people like planting grains such as wheat, oats, and rye. They're all three great options. Each one kind of has a different purpose, but for the majority of time, they should be planted roughly around the same time in the fall each year. Wheat, oats, and rye for your grain, winter wheat, winter rye, and then a good quality hardy oat would be planted roughly about 30 to 45 days before your average first frost. A lot of people say, well, what's my first frost have to do anything? Well, each area, each county, each state has an average frost date, it's usually pretty accurate, within a couple days or a week or so, but you should be planning, back that up, 4 weeks, 30 days, 40 days, something like that, to plant your winter wheat and winter rye and your oats, because they can become too woody and stemmy if you plant them too early in the season, because there's so much green left out and the deer aren't going to eat them, so it allows them to grow. And if they keep growing continuously without being eaten, they will become too stemmy and woody and become unattractive. That's important because you want those to be attractive when your season is happening, when you get into the fall. So again, don't plant them too early. I see guys planting wheat, oats, and rye in like August or something, and it's stomach high, and the deer don't eat them, and then wonder why. Wheat, oats, and rye is an excellent option. Winter wheat and winter rye in your colder climates, and then oats in not so cold climates. But they're a great option on small food plots because they can actually withstand the browse pressure, especially in areas of high deer density. Wheat, oats, and rye can be a great option. They're very palatable all fall long, and they will be the very first thing that greens up in the spring, feeding your deer 4, 5, 6 weeks before everything, all this stuff starts greening up in the springtime. Let me know what you guys are planting this year down in the comments below. This corn's looking good. Anyway, jumping to your brassicas. Brassicas need more time to grow, to establish. Typically you want to plant those roughly about 60 days before your average first frost. Those brassicas need time to mature and peak at the right time, and typically that seems to be roughly about 60 days or so before your average first frost, guys. Brassicas such as Showstopper or Sugar Mama is a good option because there's a variety of brassicas in there. Anytime you plant something you want to blend, that's why, like, if I do my grains, I'll plant wheat and rye because there's always something working in there at different times of the year. It's the same thing when you plant brassicas. You want a variety of brassicas in that mixture. That way there's something peaking or becoming palatable at different times of the year to allow for maximum attraction. Brassicas seem to do or hold up well in areas or situations where you have a larger plot. I typically like planting them on plots larger than a 1/4 acre. Ideally it would be a 1/2 acre, because they can become very palatable and they don't really grow back when a deer takes a bite. So a deer gets in there, several deer, they can wipe out a brassica plot, and then you're left with nothing leading into the hunting season when you need it the most. So that's why it's important to assess how many deer you have on your property, the size of your plots. If you're in big woods, if you're in ag country, big woods, you need bigger food plots most likely, or you're gonna have to focus more on grains, or some brassicas and grains mixed together on there, just because brassicas, they can wipe those out. I know a lot of guys feel sometimes left out when they're not planting brassicas, like, oh well, brassicas are the ice. Well, they can be, but you have to plant accordingly. It's more important to have something that's going to last throughout the season, because if your plot runs out, then the deer go someplace else, they get shot, and then you're wondering why all the deer keep getting shot, or you're over pressuring it. You just have to be careful. Each property is different, each area, each plot, each situation is going to be different. You just have to be careful on what you plant. A simple Google search for you guys will tell you, there's many websites that do it, but it'll tell you the area that you live in, where it'll give you the estimated frost date each year. Like here in Maryland in the fall, it's right around the 28th of October, and in the springtime it's right around May the 15th. That doesn't really change. It's pretty close, within a couple days or so. So you can Google search that. It'll give you an accurate assessment. Just back that up roughly 30 days when you guys plant your grains, and then back it up a roughly 50 to 60 days or so in order to plant your brassicas. It's pretty close to being accurate when you follow those steps. If you guys want to learn more about food plots and habitat